What's up, YouTube? You're watching New Car Spin. I'm Brian.
And I'm Yale, the resident Toyota fanboy.
And today we have an interesting lineup because I have the MINI GP and Yale has...
Well, it's the return of God's rocket. It's 2.0, literally. It's a Toyota Supra 2.0.
The
2021.
Supra. Yeah, that's right. So these are both 4 cylinders and they are both BMWs.
Yeah, BMWs.
Believe it or not.
Kind of.
Believe it or not. Yeah, kind of.
Kind of.
Okay, well, they both have 8-speed automatics. They both have turbocharged 4-cylinder engines.
Yeah.
And they both have fake air vents.
Yeah, a lot of that
Yeah.
going on.
So let's, which one do you want to look at first?
Let's look at the Mini. It looks awesome.
Okay, let's do that. Come on in. What can I tell you about it? Well, I've been driving for the week, and it has carbon fiber fender flares. They're only making 3,000 of these, and 500 are coming to the US.
Okay.
This is number 302 because it has number 302
Oh, wow.
on the front fender, on both sides actually,
Okay.
driver and passenger. What else? 14-inch brakes, 300-pound weight reduction, and I think it looks like Gollum from the front end. You know, this is the ear, and there's the nasty face. So,
Oh, wow. Look at that.
yeah.
I might take back the awesome part, but
Yeah, I think
sure it
GP
drives
stands for Gollum Precious or something like that. This is fake, this air vent, right? So,
right.
yeah,
Here
we have
go.
something to talk about, something in common with
Yeah.
these two cars. But the price on this, let me get the sticker. It's quite interesting. I think you'll be a little shocked. I was. Ready? Take a guess.
You know, this is the tricked out Mini, what, the John Cooper Works model?
Yep.
Maybe 30, 32,000, something like that.
45,750.
Ouch.
And the only option, well, there's no option, just 44.9 base price and then an 850 destination charge.
Wow.
Yeah. So there it is. It's turnkey sports car for the track.
Does it feel like a sports car?
Well, we'll have to drive it and find out.
Okay.
But I think before we do that,
Yeah.
let's look at yours.
Oh, yeah. Well, love this car. If you haven't seen the review that we've done on the 3.0, definitely check that out.
Definitely.
We'll probably put the link below. This is the Toyota Supra for 2021, and it seems like Toyota is making changes every year, it feels like.
Yep.
You know, with the 3.0, they've upgraded it, got a lot more horsepower. This one's a 2.0, and I'm really actually surprised just how good the car is.
Right?
Yeah, and it looks amazing. It's hard to tell if it's the 3.0 or the 2.0 unless you look at the wheels, really.
Right.
These come with the 18-inch Michelin, what is it, the Super Sport, Pilot Super Sport.
Nice.
Very nice tires. I mean, I get looks all the time driving, through town on this thing.
It definitely looks better than the Mini. I'll just say that.
Just a little bit.
The Mini's got like some kind of like racer boy thing going on. It looks like it's trying to be a Mercedes A45 AMG, and
Yeah, but Mini's got that reputation, like it's like a go-kart, right?
yeah,
It's
well,
got
it is British,
Yeah.
so it's gonna have just different elements.
Yeah.
But this is supposed to be Japanese.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I think they probably collaborated. They did some engineering together. It definitely feels tight, amazing.
Yeah.
Good car to look at. It's kind of grown on me. I think when it first came out, it was kind of like, okay, this is interesting. Great curves, big tires, big tires up front and in the rear.
Yeah, those are pretty meaty, actually.
Yeah, and then 200, just like your car, 200. I think it's like 219, 220 pounds weight reduction.
Yeah, okay.
So that's nice.
Well, yeah, because this is the first 4-cylinder Supra.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is pretty
And
amazing.
the whole point of this one is lightweight.
Yeah.
So you don't have the weight of that 6-cylinder on the front nose.
Yeah.
You still can't get this with a manual, and you can get that Mini with a manual. So
Okay.
There's a
Didn't know
lot of
that.
similarity here. The biggest difference, this is rear-wheel drive, and the Mini is front-wheel drive.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now which one do you want to drive first?
For sure, I'm gonna stick with the
with the Mini?
Yeah. No.
With the Supra? Okay.
Well, actually, let's do this. What are we driving first? Let's go with the Mini, then let's come back to Supra.
Okay, I will warn you,
Yeah.
they have been saying Well, we'll talk about it when we drive. How about that?
Yeah.
But some people have been saying, oh, well, there's the Hyundai Veloster N-Line, and there's a bunch of other hatchback to compare against that Mini. But I think this right here is the biggest comparison, because what's the price on this one?
The price on this is I want to say mid 40s. It's 40, 43, 43, 46.
Well, let's get your window sticker out. Let's
take
see
a
real
look
quick,
at it.
do a little comparison.
Yeah.
I think the audience will be in for a shock, because they both have rear hatchbacks. I mean, neither of them have a rear seat. The only difference is front wheel drive versus rear wheel drive.
Well, I can't believe the Mini costs that much.
Okay, what do you have?
All right. MSRP, $42,990.
Okay.
And then this one's got the safety and technology package. You add that in. And the delivery and handling fee of $995. That makes it about $48,000.
Whoa, wait a second. Whoa. Hold on. So the Mini is cheaper.
The Mini is cheaper.
$45,750.
And how much horsepower does your Mini have?
300 something.
You know what this has?
No.
255 horsepower.
Yeah, I think it's underrated though.
Yeah, I definitely think it's underrated.
Because the 3.0 is almost 400 horsepower, and I believe it.
Toyota has that reputation, especially with Supras. Underrated. The Mark IV, underrated, because the gentleman's agreement in Japan that they had back in the 90s. Now you're looking at this. I think the 3.0 was definitely that we took out on that road trip.
Yeah.
Definitely underrated.
Yeah.
In terms of horsepower. This one's got 295 pound-feet of torque, though.
But BMW underrates their cars, not Toyota.
No, Toyota has a history of underrating on the So
Okay, all right. So you just have to look for two important badges on either of these cars. The one right here that says GR.
Yep.
It comes on every Supra. I think it means God's rocket, but it's actually
Gazoo Racing.
Gazoo Racing. Yeah. Well, the Mini, it just says GP. It says it everywhere, actually.
Yeah.
But I think we should get in, drive it, and see what it's about.
Let's do it.
All right. All right, here it is, the Mini with an automatic. Let's pop in.
Well, look at it. It's got the classic Mini switches, the chrome there, the big round display in the middle.
Oh yeah, well this is what happens. You turn it on.
Oh, look at that. That is cool.
Yeah, your typical Mini sounds.
You're telling me that they numbered each one of these?
Each one is numbered. This one's 302.
Wow.
0302.
Wow, okay.
And yeah, the interior here is pretty basic. It's actually like the stock Mini interior. Nothing fancy. They have over the years, oh yeah,
red seatbelt?
There is a red seatbelt. And no back seat. It's not that they took it out. They never put one in.
Oh.
And that's not a strap bar.
What is that?
That's just a luggage bracket brace, something, because the wheels are actually way back there, not right behind us. So, yeah.
So your luggage doesn't hit you?
Something like that, you know, when you're on the track and you're with your steamer trunk or, I don't know, your tool set. So let's go that way. Let me tell you about this car a little bit. Get the windows up. So I'm not a big fan of front-wheel drive cars. I had the Sonata N-Line a couple weeks ago, and it was a fast front-wheel drive vehicle as a sedan, but it didn't have a limited slip diff. It was just terrible off the line, and it's okay as a first-time driver's car with something with power, because you have to kind of learn to feather in the throttle. So this car is a little different. It has a limited slip diff, and it has almost the same amount of power as the Sonata N-Line. Of course, this thing's much smaller. This is unforgiving. So compared to the Supra, I think you'll be able to tell me what the ride is like. What I'll do though is I'll just drive it and let you come to your conclusion here.
I'm having all sorts.
So something that happens is it does a lot of torque steer. So it dodges, it goes left, it goes right.
Wow, that front wheel drive, huh?
Yep, and it also tram lines. And so basically, if you are on a freeway and you're on one of those grooves, this car will basically change lanes sideways. I've discovered it's not very fun.
I'm sorry, say what?
It'll grip so hard in the front, and the power just overtakes the car so much, you feel like you're changing lanes sideways. And then, you know, Jalopnik and all those people, they just like to complain about things. And, you know, if they're not complaining about a bland car, they're complaining about a car like this. I actually like this MINI GP.
Really?
Yep, because it has character.
Okay.
And that's something missing in a lot of new cars these days. You can't knock Mini for doing something just because they can. And although it's an 8-speed automatic, I think it'd be better if it had fewer speeds and higher gear ratios, so that you can kind of get more speed out of the engine at a lower end. Right now it's all top end. So the problem I have is the way the steering is and everything. It's a fight. I'm constantly fighting with this car. Now that's the character though. That's character building for you, and it's character building for the passenger. Yeah. But in essence, you're really fighting with the car all the time, and the fight is the biggest problem. But I drove it in the rain the other day, and the car became so much better.
Oh, really?
So much better. So the thing is, when you start building the trust with the car and you get beyond the harsh ride, you start realizing, oh, this is a pretty badass car.
Yeah.
But I think those Jalopniks of the world don't really understand how this car is meant to be driven, because yes, you can drive it quickly, but the best thing you can do is hit this button right here, which turns the traction control off.
Ooh.
And when that happens, it says GP mode activated, and basically now you get the full GP experience. This is sort of like where BMW comes in, right? Because I've driven the M235i, and the M, I mean, I have an M Roadster, I know. You turn the key and it's immediately at M. But these newer cars with their digital stuff, you kind of have to dial it in. So I had to turn traction off, I had to put the transmission in sport mode, I had to put the sport mode in sport mode. And so down here, what we have is this automatic. And if you knock it over, it's either in manual or sport. So you can use these paddles or you can shift it manually, it will hold the gear. But we're gonna keep it in sport, so it'll automatically shift. So now we're in GP mode, no traction control, and sport. And there's power. And what I'm noticing is there's less traction control intervening with everything. And you have more control of the car itself rather than the control of the car that the car has over you with the way it torque steers. So yes, it's still very dangerous. I would say that there will probably be 1,500 of these left in the world in 10 years, because there's just no way anyone can get behind the wheel of this and not do like catastrophic damage.
Wow.
And that's kind of the problem I have with this car, is that it's fun in the right hands, and if there's someone who understands how it works and doesn't want to complain, I think it'll be a great car that they'll understand, oh, this is a car with character, and we can totally enjoy it for what it is. So we'll go back and enjoy the Supra for a little bit.
So is that in relation to what the engine's doing right there? Because I noticed that light. Have you noticed that?
Yes, I don't know exactly what's going on here. It's a mini thing. If I change the temperature, it'll change. The ring will change. If I go higher speed, it'll change. If something else happens,
so it's not like the talk or
if I raise the volume, it'll change.
Oh wow. Okay.
So there's all sorts of stuff that ring does, and I can't turn it off. It is distracting. It doesn't really mean much to me. See that?
Yeah.
So the smallest bump.
Wow.
It's these hand-cooked tires are extremely grippy. I don't really have any problem with them at all. But the way the power is delivered down here, you know, I wish they would have done a GP version of the Countryman instead, because that was all-wheel drive. And then the other problem we have here is we have this insane amount of grip, and there is a difference in my mind between grip and handling. So if a car doesn't have grip, you should still be able to handle it. And this car doesn't have any handling based on the way it just takes its own path. It wants to kill me, period. And that's kind of the problem I have with this car. It's fun though. If you can get past that and learn to restrain yourself, which is really hard to do in a fun, sporty car, you'll be able to have some good times. But, I mean, listen to it. They don't mess around. And if you downshift,
Ooh, that's some braking.
very good braking.
Yeah.
And if you drive it properly, like we're doing right now, you feel that? That's nuts. So if you're not expecting it, if you're getting behind the wheel of one of these for the first time, you need a couple days before you can really take liberties with it. The problem too is braking is really strong and the steering is really strong. I would almost think that if I was to do something with this car, I would pull the power steering completely. I would just maybe pull the fuse out for the power steering and just leave it unassisted.
Okay.
And that might make it worse for the control in a straight line. But I think at high speed, it'll give you more stability or more confidence behind the wheel. Or if it was lighter, if they totally boosted the steering to make it light, you might have more control over which direction you're going to go. But either way, I'm manhandling this car and it feels good. And I don't think it needs a manual at all. A lot of people like to complain about it missing a manual.
Sure.
I'm too busy keeping it in a straight line. So for me, the best part though is after you leave the freeway and you kind of get off back into regular traffic, you can actually hear the exhaust cooling down while you're driving.
No way.
Yeah, you'll hear the tick, tick, and I mean that's a sound of confirmation that you've done something right for the day. You can hear it now, actually.
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of where I think the weight losses come from. They've done a better job than I have myself, but it seems like they've pulled insulation, they've pulled sound deadening, they just kind of left it raw and visceral. And I think that's what makes this car so enjoyable to me, is that there's some character in here and it's very simple. There's no lane keeping assist, although I thought there was when I first drove it because it was so darty. I thought it was a bad lane keep assist program, but there's no radar cruise. I mean, I have power windows and power locks and that's it. I don't even have keyless locks for the doors.
Oh wow.
I just have a remote, and it's as basic as you can get, which probably explains why it's less expensive than the Supra, even though BMW makes both of these cars. I think what you have to look at is what they've refined or distilled for the brand of Mini. That British GP aspect is definitely here. It's just a matter of how many people really want a car that there will only be 500 of.
Right.
And that's pretty much it.
Okay, well, so this is a front-wheel drive, front engine. How's the balance?
There's nothing to complain about because there's so much grip. You can't really reach the limits of cornering with it. And I think the other problem too is you sit so high up in this car and there's so much room. You're moving around a lot, but these seats are very firm. They're very supportive. I have them in one position. I don't change it. I don't need to change it. I don't feel like it's in the wrong position. It's just perfect every time I get in. So the balance and everything there, I can't find it because the grip, it's just grip. It's just pure grip.
Wow.
And if you were to lose the grip, let's just say your tires start wearing down, I think you'll find that there is no balance and there's no handle. This is why there's so much grip.
Okay.
But let's walk around a little real quick.
Yeah, that's surprising. When I saw those Hanguk tires, I was interested in seeing how it would handle the grip.
I'll also pop the hood. Has a great clamshell hood. It says GP everywhere on here, but it is a pretty good performer. But as far as what it is, it's totally different from the Supra, and I think that's the best part. Is it's not like we're comparing a GTI to a Mini like everyone else does. We're comparing a Mini GP to a 4-cylinder Super Turbo, and it's kind of like this is apples to apples in my mind.
Yeah.
Even though it's rear-wheel drive versus front-wheel drive.
Right. Well, you got more horsepower in the Mini.
Yeah, but you can get a 3.0 if you really want more power.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're comparing something, you know, in a price segment that's pretty close. What's the weight on this car?
I don't talk about
You
weight.
don't talk about.
I hardly talk about horsepower. I want to convey the vehicle, right?
Right.
I don't want to edit videos too much. I want to keep it as raw and real as possible.
Yeah.
I want to give you this experience of these open roads in this farm country of Texas and what it's like to just let loose. I don't really need to tell you all the stats because everyone else can do that.
Sure.
What no one else can do is this.
Sure.
So,
It's beautiful out here.
yeah. Hankook something tires. Ventus Evo S1. So,
I almost feel like they're track tires. Like this is something you take to the track.
oh, definitely.
Probably
I mean,
like a 200.
The size of the brakes on this are overkill in my mind, but they're good. Good.
Wow.
And you can fold the front seat or move the front seat forward to access the rear. There's one cup holder back there. That's all you're really going to grab.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So there you go.
There you go.
Yeah. And that's the Mini. Some people might like it. Some people might dislike it, but
Yeah.
I like it. It's got character.
Yeah.
They did it because they could.
And it's fun.
Yeah. Let's do the Supra.
All right. Well, let's talk about the Supra. If anything, this car here is balanced, like unbelievably balanced. Like, I think they did some pretty amazing things. You know, they put in the 4-cylinder in here. Let me hand this to you. I actually want to pop the trunk and show you something.
The trunk.
I mean the hood.
The hood?
Show you something. So one of the things about this car, when you look at it from the side, I mean, it looks like the hood is, you know, the front of the car is really big. Well, they had to do that because of the inline 6.
Yep.
They put the four-cylinder here, the 2.0, and if you look here, you got a ton of space right up here because you lost 2 cylinders. Well, what that enabled them to do is push the 4-cylinder engine so far back, you know, so far back into close to the cabin of the car that actually a lot of that weight is behind the wheels.
Oh yeah.
And so, as I've been driving this thing, it's been amazing. So let's get in the car and go for a ride, and we'll talk about it.
Okay, you drive.
All right.
This is my favorite part about the Supra. It's called getting in. So I can't just sit in like this because.
Oh, wait, that seat is actually, you gotta lower that seat on the right. Sorry.
Oh.
It's because I had my kids.
Well, manual seats in both of these cars. Oh yeah. Oh, thank God.
I think in the 3.0 they had oh yeah, in both of these cars, yeah.
That's better.
All right.
So I might have to do it this way
Look
next
at
time.
that. Still, you still got it done.
Oh. Get my. All right.
All right.
Let's try this. I do like the Supra though. It's great.
Yeah.
But the Mini obviously has more room.
Yeah.
I'll get my window up.
Well, you hear the normal, you know, the BMW tones and all that.
Oh, and you have the electric e-brake, whereas I
electric
have the
e-brake.
manual brake. Yeah. Okay.
And just like the BMW, you want to put it in sports, in manual mode,
Yep.
right? Drop it into drive, and then you push to the left, and you got your paddle shifters here.
Okay.
So what I was talking about in terms of the engine is it's so far back, this thing feels like it turns in amazing. Like, I've driven the Porsche Cayman. It feels like it turns in just almost, it's similar from what I remember.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so we've got 255 horsepower, a little less than what's supposed to have. But I mean, this thing is just fun to drive. Rear wheel drive, you know, and I've driven front wheel drive most of my life with Hondas and that kind of a thing, or I'm driving Toyota trucks. But just, I can't tell you how much fun this is to drive. And I'm not even in sports mode right now. Get the tires warmed up a little bit. So here's the one thing to know about this car. This car compared to the 3.0, this car, the 2.0 does not have 4-caliber Brembo, brakes, that kind of a thing. But it brakes, I didn't drive the 3.0, so I couldn't tell you. I rode in it with you on that review. I can tell you the 3.0 brakes great. I'll tell you this, the 2.0 brakes amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you need the Brembos on it. You're just adding, rotational mass there, so you're talking about more weight, so unsprung weight. But this car is just fun.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, I drove it for a day before you, and the Supra ride is really smooth and clean compared to MINI GP, and the grip on that GP is insane. But here, I feel a balance and handling. So even if the grip runs out in this car, I know there's still controllable aspects to it, and we don't have that silly boy racer look in here. We have, a very clean, organized look. It's not trying to be a specifically brash kind of car. This is a very svelte, slick coupe design that has that utility of a hatchback. We have something sliding around back there. No big deal.
This car does have the lane keeping assist, and it's got a bit more in terms of electronics than what you have in your Mini.
Oh yeah.
But this is definitely a driver-focused car. I'm not of an exterior color, but this car actually has me thinking yellow's not bad.
Oh yeah.
In fact, just it stands out. I'm driving all around town, and people are looking. Now I went and got a haircut the other day. Everyone in the shop's like, "Man, that's a nice car," and I'm like, "Thank you," but wish it was mine. But yeah, it's fantastic. In terms of, everyone talks about, well, 3.0, 2.0, you got to get the 3.0, all that stuff. We're gonna do a review. I'm gonna take this car for a ride, and just take it on a highway, see what it's like just driving long stretches, and I think we'll be surprised.
Yeah,
better gas mileage. Not that you kind of get these cars for gas mileage, but it gives you almost, I would probably, my guess, 90% of what you're looking for compared to the 3.0.
Yeah, I mean, you still have really, really nice features in here with the interior, and it's much less Spartan, or I don't know, compared to the Mini. This is a much better interior in certain aspects, and I think that even if this was the 3.0, you'd have the same interior here, except the few things would be the 3.0 has power seats, the 3.0 has leather and power. Well, this one still has power bolsters.
Yeah, power bolsters, but then
at least for the driver, I think. Yeah,
and you've got the electronic slip differential, limited slip differential in the 3.0. This one's got a mechanical.
Okay.
To lose 200 pounds, they did a few things, but I don't feel like they've really lost a whole lot of things. The 3.0's got the active dampeners. This one does not. But if you didn't drive them back to back or really had that experience, you wouldn't feel like you're missing out on a lot.
True. Very true.
I really like this 2.0.
I think too, though, that the weight reduction is the key here.
Yes.
And
where they lost the weight.
I think you can go even further in this car, though. That's the best part. Like I don't know if it has the space-saving spare or a fit kit, but I'm sure if you remove even some of the sound insulation and everything, you get more of that exhaust sound coming through the back rather than this infused sound.
Sure.
You'll have a much better experience.
So here we are in sport mode.
Little tail happy, that's good.
Yeah. I guess we could turn off the traction control. I mean, just fun. Because of the weight savings, I want to do late braking. I would love to take this to a track, but we're not going to do that.
So do you have the transmission in sport mode too?
We're in sport mode. I'm not doing manual.
Okay, so you don't have sport mode in this transmission like you would on a BMW M235i or a Mini. You just have a sport button.
Yeah.
Or manual or drive, which is regular auto.
Which actually reminds me a lot of the Cayman, even the 911. You got a sport mode. You hit the button. It's almost like in the same position. But I mean, this is just a fun car. I'm gonna give myself a little space here before I get into twisties.
And is your traction on or off?
Traction is now off.
Okay. So is there a difference between traction on and off in here, like as far as
Haven't really played a whole lot with it, tried to break out the rear or anything on a turn.
No.
But I didn't really answer that question.
Okay. But you'll do that in your review.
Yeah, and I'll say this: I've driven it, for the last few days with traction on, just by default, and I love it. I don't feel like it's lacking a whole lot of anything. So here we go.
Yeah, that's great grip.
And it just, these tires, they just grip. And I think they've just done some suspension tweaking this year to the Toyota Supra, and it just feels amazing. It turns in amazing. It's been a long time since I've been to the track, so I don't know if, it's oversteering, understeering, or anything like that, but this is just a fun car.
This has a little bit of oversteer in my opinion,
Okay.
but it feels controllable.
Right.
Little hawk there, whoops.
Wow.
But as far as this Supra, I mean the balance, everything on it, I think if people were to ask me, hey, what's a great coupe for under 70 grand? Supra all day. For a regular sports car, people would say Miata is the answer.
Yeah.
Supra is the only way to go now. And it's either or, 2.0 or 3.0. I mean, the difference is negligible, but if we're gonna say, oh yeah, I got like my hot hatch, the Mini or the GTI or whatever, I'd still prefer the Supra because it's just a little bit more, I won't say luxurious, it's just more grown up. It's not racer boy, although it might have that appeal to some people. I think that the Supra is much more refined.
Again, late braking, I just loved, and the turn-in is so great. It's just fun. And it's, people say, oh, you got to get the 3.0, but there's so much here in this car, you're going to enjoy, you're going to learn a little bit about driving, what your limits are, what the limits of the car are. It's just a fun vehicle, and just a pleasure to drive this. So thank you, Toyota, for letting us drive this thing.
Yeah, and you know what? I think the next thing we need to do to wrap this up is a 0 to 60.
There we go.
So we'll go find a little farm road and line these cars up and see if there is a difference or if they come in as the same, because I have a feeling, well, I won't tell you.
Well, you got more horsepower.
Well,
This would
it's
be
front-wheel
fun for your
drive.
front-wheel drive. I'm rear-wheel drive.
Yeah.
We'll see. Both.
Let's find out.
200-pound weight reduction. Let's find out.
Yes. All right, let's do it. 1, go. Well, that was interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, who knew that the more horsepower would be sufficient to pass you even with front-wheel drive?
Right. Yeah. So
And
I was surprised. I was really surprised that you guys, you overtook it. So
yeah, it was really close though, right?
it was close.
So with your rear-wheel drive and my front-wheel drive, I mean, you did have the advantage off the line, and then I kind of took it at the end.
You overtook it and took it at the end, yeah.
Yeah, but they were close, and that's the thing. Price tag, they're close. Fun-wise, they're close. They're just different flavors. So some people like Takis, and some people like, Doritos, nachos, whatever it is, Taco Bell. So that's just kind of how it goes. Yeah. So, although personally, I'd rather have the Supra.
I would rather have the Supra as well.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with the Mini.
Nothing wrong with the Mini. It's just a different monster. But yeah.
It is. I wish the Supra had that Mini exhaust and the just sort of bare bones,
Sure.
a little bit of it. But overall, you can't complain about how that Supra 2.0 came out.
It looks amazing. It handles great. Turns in great.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's built better than the Mini. But again, they're both BMWs, so that's all subjective.
It's Toyota.
Well, Toyota did put it through different tests, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So Mini is owned by BMW, so there's the difference
There's a
right
difference.
there. Yeah.
But that's what happens in a BMW surrogacy.
Yeah.
They build nice cars.
They do. They're fun. And this might be someone else's kind of thing, you know, with the spoiler and the carbon fiber fender flares and the fat exhaust. I mean, that it does remind me of just the racers of the 90s, you know, like the what is it, the Civic? Remember the Civic hatchback? Yeah, it's kind of what that would be.
I got a lot of friends that would love this car.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they love that go-kart feel. You know, it feels like it's on rails. You know,
Yeah.
It's fun to drive, challenging.
Yep.
They would love that.
But I'll take this all day
I'll
long.
take it all day.
Every day.
Every day.
All day.
Especially in this color.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. See you in the next video.
Take care.